everyone. Thank you for registering for the Improving Mental Health through Ayurveda webinar. My name is Sonika, and I'm pleased to introduce our esteemed guest, Dr. Keshav Chauhan. Dr. Chauhan is a highly qualified and experienced Ayurvedic physician with a BAMS degree. He has learned traditional Ayurvedic skills under the mentorship of Dr. Pratap Chauhan for 5 years. Currently, he is working at Jiva Ayurveda, an organization with a mission to revive the Vedic Indian science of healing and make it accessible to the people around the world. This webinar is brought to you by Alternative Health. Alternative Health is the first telemedicine portal dedicated to complementary and alternative medicine. With more than 38% of US population and over 50% of people around the world using alternative therapies, the demand has been very high. And Alternative Health is the platform that people use to access therapy sessions or access professionals from all over the world 24/7 at their service. During this webinar, Dr. Chauhan will share valuable insights about mental health issues that can significantly impact our lives. Our goal is to help you live a life free of high-dose medication, which usually has side effects and all, and make you live a life free naturally. With Dr. Chauhan's guidance, you will learn how Ayurveda can eliminate the need for such medication and balance your mental health. Without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Keshav Chauhan for today's session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sonika, for the invitation. And I would like to welcome all the webinar attendees who are here to learn the Ayurvedic principles behind management of stress and to improve your overall mental health. So mental health is a big concern in present times. And the concern is increasing more and more, especially in youngsters and also in elderly people. So let's see, we will try to understand through this webinar how Ayurveda looks into the mental health and what is the Ayurvedic perspective to manage it. So the modern understanding of stress is a little different from what Ayurveda looks into it. Ayurveda and the Vedas have in depth explained how your mind operates and how you can keep your mind happy and healthy. So just maybe if you can switch to next slide. Yeah, so Ayurveda, in thousands of years ago, they explained that this human system is not only a physical body and not only a mind, or it is a tripod, which is a combination of body, mind, and soul. So this is what we call as human. So thousands of years ago, they told that mind is a very important part, and this can also be the source of disorders or the source of sufferings in human life. But modern science very lately has discovered that there could be a psychological or emotional or mental reason behind the diseases, and now they are coming up with the concepts of psychosomatic disorders. So earlier it was not there, but Ayurveda has always given more importance to mind than the body. Next slide, please. So as you can see that human in Sanskrit is called as Manushya. So Manushya word comes from the one who has mana. Mana means mind. So, we are not the ones who have the body, but we are the ones who have the mind. And body is also termed as an extension of the mind, which means the way you think, the way your thoughts are being processed, the way your mind is working, the same will be the state of your body as well. So if your mind is under stress, then the body will be under stress as well. And there will be a lot of, other issues, health issues or degenerative changes happening in the body. If the mind is happy, the body is also happy, and the functioning of the body organs and the internal system is also very good. So there are a lot of processes going on within the body throughout the day. It's not easy to breathe. It's not easy to provide nutrition to all the cells. It's not easy to pump blood through all the cells of the body. So it requires a lot of coordination, a lot of synchronization, a lot of within the organ synchrony to make you, to keep you alive. And all this functioning happens in a synchronized way or in a natural way, in a balanced way, if your mind is working in a balance. So if the mind is under stress, or if the mind is not healthy, then all this physical functioning also take a toll, and it can result into any physical problem. So if your mind is happy, which is the most important thing, then the body also automatically becomes healed and free from the diseases. So very beautiful explanation of mind. And next slide, please. So in Vedas, they've explained that the mind is it has four different compartments, and we have to understand this very carefully, because each compartment has its role in the mental health and healing the mind. So the first compartment is the mind itself, which you call as manas. So the role of this manas is to process thoughts. It is constantly processing thoughts, and it's constantly churning thoughts. It is not stopping. It is regularly operating, right? Whatever learnings we are having, whatever we are observing or feeling through the senses, whatever you read, whatever you see during the day, all this is being processed through the mind, and it can work constantly without any break, right? So such is the huge capacity of this mind, that it can churn and process your thoughts and imaginations throughout the day, right? So there is another thing associated with this mind or mana, which is that it starts to label things very quickly. Okay, labeling means either labeling it as a like or dislike. So, for example, if you have any experience today, you go out and you watch a movie or you eat an ice cream. So, immediately the mind labels whether you like it or dislike it. So, mind will not stay neutral to it. So, this is a very, this is something which can lead to a lot of issues later, because you start labeling everything as a like and dislike rather than staying neutral to your experiences. So that is one of the main qualities of the mind, which we should understand. The another quality of this mind is that it is only one, and it can associate with only one object or sense at one particular time. So this is also very important to understand when we'll talk about healing the mind. So you have to remember these two things. The main qualities of the mind is to label the objects as like or dislike. And second, it is only one. We don't have multiple minds to do multiple tasks. It is only one mind which is being associated with all the different senses, different tasks, and different processes in the body. Second important component of the mind is identity or ahankara, which means how do you identify yourself? So you identify yourself as a human being, you identify yourself as a man or a woman or a child or a son or a daughter or a doctor or any other profession. So what is that identity that you are carrying? So which we call as ahankara in Sanskrit. So this is also very important to understand. Sometimes there is a big identity crisis that happens, which can lead to a lot of mental issues. So when we start to associate ourselves with some objects and some other components, for example, if somebody on the road, somebody hits your car, so you get so much angry or so much outrage, and there are a lot of fights that can happen, a lot of outrage can happen, because you identify yourself as the car and you think that somebody has hit you. That's why we are responding so abruptly, but it's not right. So this is just an example, but there could be a lot of such identity issues that are going on throughout the day, when we don't identify really who we are, and we start responding and reacting in some understanding ourselves as someone else. The third component of mind is chitta or memory, which is a very important component. So it is like the hard disk of the mind, right? So everything that you are experiencing is being stored in this chitta. All your training, learnings from childhood, even before that, everything is stored in this chitta. And whenever you experience whatever you are, reacting in today, in present time, it's all because of what has been stored in the chitta in the past, right? For example, if you go to buy a shoe or a dress in the supermarket, so you will first try to, you'll get associated with the brand that you have already seen advertisement, or what brand is good, what kind of clothes or shoes that brand makes. So because you have seen those advertisements before, so chitta, your decisions are dependent on what is stored in the mind before. So we are not using our intelligence too much when we are taking our day-to-day decisions. It is the past memory, the past experiences, and the past learnings that are stored in the mind, which result into our decision in day-to-day life, isn't it? For example, if you have to go out for eating or for dinner, so you'll always try to go to a place where maybe you will do some research on Google and see what is good, or you will try to eat something that you have already eaten in the past. So, I mean, the point is, we are responding more on the base of the memories of the past rather than using our intelligence while taking any decisions. And this chitta, if there is a lot of negative experiences or emotional traumas in the past, then this can also lead to a lot of diseases or problems in the present. So this is a very, very, very important component. And sometimes in Ayurveda, we do a lot of therapies to work or delete the wrong samskaras or the emotional traumas or bad experiences of the past. At the same time, the chitta can be used for healing the mind as well, by instilling some good samskaras, and by by putting in some good information, or some experiences which help in making the mind pleasant and happy. So this is a very important tool that we use in therapies, in healing, to improve the mental health. So we'll talk more about it later in the lecture. The fourth component is intelligence or intellect or buddhi. So this intelligence or buddhi is very sharp. It does a very sharp analysis of what is right and what is wrong. So this buddhi has the capacity to discriminate between right and wrong, and what is good for you, what is not good for you, what things you should do in your life, what things you should not do in your life. So it is very sharp. It is very sharp like a knife. So it cuts things into very minute pieces to understand and discriminate. So these are the four components, and each component is very, very important. And the least used component, or more redundant component of the mind, is buddhi. So we are not using too much of buddhi or intelligence in our day-to-day practices, and more dependent on the chitta or the past experiences, identity. If their identity is wrong ego, you can say, and also the constant experiences and exposure to our mind. So these are the three components which we use more, and we get exposure to more, and that's why there are a lot of mental health issues. Next slide, please. So what is stress? So there are a lot of different definitions to stress. Some people say it is a syndrome. Syndrome means it can bring in a lot of diseases along with it. It is not a single disease. So when it is a single disease, it is called as a disease. But when it is a group of disorders, it is called as syndrome. So stress, is it a syndrome, or is it a disease, or what it is? Yeah. Is it a pandemic? So everybody everywhere is under stress. There is no country where people say that we are not under stress. I'm doing a lot of consultations every day across the world, in India, various parts of India, and also abroad. And whenever I ask them that, are you having any stress? So most people reply that yes, doctor, we have stress and everyone has stress. There is nobody who is not having stress. So they think that stress is so normal that it is like a fashion, everyone should have it. If somebody is not having stress, then it is a problem. Sometimes they question me that, do you have stress, or you don't have stress? And it's hard for them to believe that somebody can be living a life without stress. So even even traveling to the rural parts of India, where we don't see a lot of technological intervention, a lot of undisciplined lifestyle, still I find people under stress in those areas as well. So it is a very strong pandemic. Everybody everywhere is suffering with this problem, and still they are not able to overcome or find a solution. Okay, some people think that if they will become rich, their stress will go, but it doesn't happen. Some think they will go to some peaceful place in mountains, and maybe they will be free from stress, but that is also not working. So people are trying a lot of different things to overcome stress, and they always think that somebody, if they become something, or like we say that the grass is greener on the other side. So we are always running after something to achieve something, and we think then our stress will go. But that is also a wrong way to approach towards stress, because again, it is not something external, it is more internal. As I've showed you the compartments of mind, so it all depends on our internal structuring, internal psyche, rather than the external things. And the last important thing, that is it just a state of mind? Is stress just a state of mind, or is it really something more? Okay, state of mind means that maybe for some moments of the day you have stress, or you are working something, you are thinking about something, there is a problem that comes, you're finding a solution. So is it just a state of mind which is for a short interval of time, and then once that time passes, then again you are into a happier state of mind? Or is this happening really, or we are staying in the state of stress for a very long period of time? So this is what you have to understand. So I will conclude that stress is just a state of mind which might help you in certain workings and operations. Some people work better when they get some stress or some fear from somewhere, so their working capacities or the potential increases. But if we are staying in that state of mind, which is a stressful state of a mind, for a longer period of time, then it will result into certain diseases. So how it happens? So naturally, this body is not designed to carry stress for a long period of time. Okay. So you must have heard about fight or fly hormones, right? So our body is designed for that. If there is a problem, then the body will push you, the hormones, they push you either to fight, or they help you in flying out of that situation. But if we are constantly staying within that state, we are neither fighting nor flying, we are just in that state of stress, what to do, or how to come out of it, or just constantly putting our body in constant stress, which is long-term stress, then it results into a lot of burnouts or damages within the internal functioning of other organs as well. So you know though the mind and body, they are two separate identities, but the mind, it is staying in the body itself, so it takes shelter in the body. So if there is anything in the mind, it will definitely reflect on the body. So long term stress gradually affects body. So through the nervous system, this stress effects comes in the body, then the immune system is hampered. So nervous and immune system are the first two body systems that are compromised by long-term stress, right? And then again, it can the impact can be seen on various other systems as well. So in Charaka, there is a very interesting statement. Charaka is an ancient Ayurvedic book which was written around 5 to 6 thousand years ago. So he highlighted a very beautiful statement, and he said that Vishado Roga Vardhananam Agreya means, Vishad means stress or depression, or unhealthy mind state. And he says that this is the biggest reason for worsening the disease condition or aggravating the disease in the body. So if we are having any problem or any disease in the body, so if we are under stress, then this disease can aggravate or multiply, into different systems and different organs and become more severe. And to make any disease severe, stress or depression is the strongest reason for that, right? Next slide, please. So what causes stress? Why are people so stressful? Is it somebody else bringing stress in their life, or are they themselves bringing that stress in their life? So this is also, we always, people always blame others for their stress. So this is what I've seen commonly with my patients also. So either it is the boss or the neighbor or the mother-in-law or the husband or the wife or the kids. There is always some external uh, person to blame for their own stress. But this is not what Vedas or Ayurveda guide us or explain us. So they say that pragya prad, or misuse of my own intelligence, is the biggest cause of my stress, right? So how, if somebody, external or some other person should not be given that much freedom or that much authority on yourself, that it disturbs the peace within your own mind, right? So if you are not happy or whatever state we are in, then we are ourselves responsible for that. We cannot blame the whole world for our own sufferings or our own problems. So it is our own misuse of intelligence that brings us into this position of constant stress. So what misuse of intelligence means, sometimes people know that this is wrong and I should not do it, but still they do it, right? They know that being in stress or being anxious is not good, but still they like to be in stress. There are a lot of things that can aggravate stress, and still they tend to do those conditions or to be in those relations which are giving them stress, to constantly fall into the same trap which gives them stress because they don't want to come out of it. So if we have to overcome stress or we have to come out of stress, then we should use our intelligence smartly. Okay, so if any takeaway you want from today's lesson, so this is the most important thing, that misuse of intelligence or pragya aparadha is the biggest cause of stress, right? So we do a lot of pragya aparadha during the whole, during even every day we are doing a lot of pragya aparadha. This is what I see with my patients. So if I tell them that you should sleep on time, which is not good for your health. So yeah, doctor, I know I should sleep on time, but I watch Netflix before sleeping, and it takes me then another hour or 2 hours before I go to bed. So if you are watching Netflix before sleep, you are putting so much negative information in the mind. The mind has to process it, right? So if you're eating something through the mouth, if you're eating something, if you're eating maybe a bowl of rice, then your system needs to process it. But if you're constantly eating something which the system is not able to process, then what will happen? The system will break down. Similarly, when we are putting a lot of information through the mind, we have worked whole day, we are tired. Now it is the time to sleep. But we want to put some more information through Netflix or news or through some other unwanted stuff. Then this information is not processed, and the mind has a mind. The capacity of mind becomes weaker. There are a lot of undigested information or undigested emotions that the mind is carrying. So this will all lead to stress and stressful state of mind. Yeah, next slide, please. So the effect of the stress is on the whole body. As I said, it is not only on any particular part, or it is not only in the brain, it is not only in the mind, even the liver health, the health of the heart, the health of the nervous system, the health of the skin can also be worsened. Yeah, the sexual health, bone health. So the stress has impact on every system of the body, and in each individual it can be different. It's not that everybody will be affected in similar way through the stress. So there could be different problems leading into different individuals. Next slide, please. So, as I said, that stress is the state of mind, and Ayurveda has beautifully categorized our states of mind and what is the best state to be in. So, Ayurveda has explained that there are three states of mind, which we can call as sattva, rajas, and tamas. So, sattva is the idealistic state, the best state of mind, where our mind is more peaceful, it is more calm, it is more clear, it is more steady. Okay. So, which means your thoughts are clear, your thoughts are pure, and your mental strength or mental capacity to digest things, to digest emotions is very good. The other state of the mind is rajas, which is more, passionate state of mind, energetic or aggressive state of mind. So when the mind is more active or energetic, so this rajas is needed to uh, put mind into action. But when the rajas is high, then it can result into anxiety, it can result into anger, short tempered, stress, or difficult to relax the mind. Then third state of mind is tamas, where the mind is more into a depressed state, more on the inertia state, where the mind becomes slow, or laziness, or not willing to, no interest in doing certain things. And such state of mind is also bringing a lot of negativity and bad thoughts or negative thoughts in the mind. So these are three states of mind, sattva, rajas, and tamas. So just to simply, if I give you an analogy to understand it, so just imagine a lake where there's a water which is very stable, and in that water, where the water is clean, you can see everything very clearly. You can see the fish which are flowing in the water. You can see the pebbles which are lying on the base of that pond, and everything is so clear. So such is the sattva state of mind, where you're very peaceful and very clear. The thoughts are very clear. The other people can also understand, you very quickly, and you can also understand other things very quickly. So such is a sattvic state of mind, which is more constructive and productive state. Then, if you throw a pebble in that pond, then that water will have waves in it. So when the waves are created, the water becomes unstable, and you cannot see through clearly that what is going on in the water, right? So this is rajasic state of mind. Whenever mind becomes wavy, when the mind is shaked, so the actions are not clear. The actions become unstable, the mind becomes unstable. So this state of rajas can lead to instability in your relationships as well, instability in your routines, more anger, more passion, and your actions are not very clear, right? Then just the third state, just imagine if there is more mud and dirt in the pond, then nothing is clear. It is more muddy, and the water is very impure. That is tamasic state of mind, when it is so dull and impure, or maybe not impure, we can say more ignorant state of mind, where you are not able to clearly act or process things, right? For example, you immediately wake up from sleep, and somebody starts giving you some education or something, then your mind will not be able to process it, because you are in a tamas state of mind at that time. Okay. So just imagine if somebody is having a longer, when you are awake also, you're still in the sleepy mode, you're still in the tamasic mode, where you're more ignorant and not able to understand or grasp things quickly. So that is tamasic state of mind. So these are three states of mind that are being explained in Ayurveda. And Ayurveda explains that you have to stay in the sattvic state of mind to keep your mind healthy and happy. The other two states, rajas and tamas, will always lead to some mental issues like anxiety, depression, or any other mental health related concerns, right? Next slide, please. So you can also do your own sattva examination, whether you have a very strong sattva, your moderate sattva, or a low sattva. So people with a stronger sattva will have a very strong willpower, where they are very determined. One, they are very punctual. If they have decided something, they will stick to it. They keep their promises. They can bear sufferings even if the body is weak. So I relate this because I see patients, and so it is a patient related example, and they're very optimistic and not afraid of crisis. So such is a strong sattva person. So for example, if I have to compare with my patients, so a pravar sattva patient is very disciplined. They always finish their medicines on time. They are following the advices as given by the doctor completely. All the dietary advices that I give them, they follow it strictly. And they question me that you can ask me to do whatever you want, but I want to get rid of my disease. So such is their determination, right? The next is Madhyam Sattva. So Madhyam Sattva means moderate Sattva, which means the Rajas is a little high in such cases. So they are short-tempered or shortly motivated. So they get motivated by listening some lecture or by listening to other people, but that motivation is not long-lived. It is very short-lived. They will need a motivation again. Okay. For example, you go out and you listen about doing yoga every day, and then you get motivated, you do yoga for 10-15 days, then you are again back to your old routine. So that means that your sattva is not so strong to motivate yourself, and you could get some motivation for some days, and then again you need more motivation. So such kind of patients, or if I say in patients terminology, they will follow the disciplines for certain time, and then again after a month or so, they need more motivation to follow the dietary advices and the lifestyle advices, so they'll need more motivation from the doctor's end. The last is avara sattva or inferior sattva. So in this case, tamas is very high, and the person is confused and they lack willpower. They don't have any decision making. They were always asking others to make decisions on their behalf, and always in a state of pity or sympathy, and they're always seeking help from others, and not getting self-motivated to achieve their own goals. Such people are impatient and most often depressed. And if I, again, as a patient, they are always looking to change doctors. They will go to a doctor, take medicine for some days, then again they want to change the doctor because they are not satisfied, or they're not always convinced with any doctor, because their mind is not able to process what the doctor is telling them or guiding them. So their sattva is not in a state to motivate them to take good actions. So this is sattva examination. So we can understand what state of sattva we are in, and our goal should be to reach the superior sattva state if we want to overcome mental health issues. Next slide, please. So in Ayurveda, the management is focused on sattva avjaya, which means to conquering the mind. So what a beautiful term they've used for mental health problems. Sattva avjaya, so win over your own mind or conquer your own mind. So it is a whole Ayurvedic psychotherapy that explains how you can win your own mind. And they have given you a lot of tools like Mano Nigraha. So there is again a whole detail how to do Mano Nigraha. So I'm touching just some superficial points in this webinar. Then stress management, specifically for stress management, Ayurveda has explained that it's always important to do some prevention than curing the state. So they've given some tools to prevent stress so that you're not under stressful condition. Then second is to increase the coping capacity and immunity of the body to overcome stress quickly, because you will always be exposed to a stressful state in your life. So how you can overcome it quickly. Next slide, please. So some tips to calm down stress or to manage stress and anxiety. First is avoid multitasking. So it is very important. People think that multitasking is very good and they like to do multiple things at the same time, right? Everybody, you must have seen at home, at work, and everywhere that people like to do multiple things at the same time. Even you like it, everyone likes it. But multitasking, if you see, really doesn't exist. As I told you that your mind is only one and it can only associate with one object or one sense organ at one specific time, one fraction of time. But when we are exposing it to multiple tasks, then the rajas in the mind, it increases. The mind becomes more active, and then it becomes difficult to relax it. Okay, because we have activated it to a state, mind will always like to become activated. If you are not able to relax it, then it stays active. It will then push you to do some more things and rather than relaxing. So when you are putting ourselves into multiple tasking, the anxiety or the activity of the mind increases. So always try to do one thing at one particular time. All right. Breathing exercise, very important tool. So whenever we are under any stressful state of mind, our breathing changes. You will see that there is a shallow breathing that happens. So if emotions change breathing, then through breathing we can change emotions as well. So by proper breathing, by some good breathing tools, pranayama and other tools in yoga can also be used, which can help in controlling the emotions or reversing to a normal state of emotions. Then give 1 hour every day to yourself, your art, your passion. It is also very important. Every person, every individual is different, and we all have some art, hidden art inside us, right? It could be, dancing, singing, painting, or sports, or any other art. And if you are not giving time to your art, then your mind is not fulfilled. Your emotions are not fulfilled. So when we are practicing this art, there is a lot of emotional cleansing that happens through this art. Okay, there are a lot of emotions, some you can discuss with your family, some you can discuss with your friends, but some are blocked emotions. There are a lot of blocked thoughts, unprocessed emotions. All this is cleansed when you are giving some time to your art, your passion. So it is very important, take out time for yourself and do what is what you are good at. And everybody has some art or passion inside them. You can also discover what is the art you are good at, what is the one that you connect with instantly and which gives you a pleasant state of mind. Then group activity with family and friends. So it helps in cleansing emotions again. So there are some extrinsic emotions which get cleansed when you are with other humans. So for that, maybe some family activities like eating together, or after food, having some chats with the family together, or with friends, talking some old stories. So it also helps in emotional cleansing. Then timely sleep. Sleep is the biggest fuel for their mind, just like food you are eating for the body. Similarly, for mind, sleep is the food. So if you are taking good, proper sleep, maybe around 6 to 8 hours of sleep every night, then it is very, rejuvenating. It is in Ayurveda, it is called as bhudhatri, means it is nourishing the whole body and nourishing the whole world actually. So all organisms, all different beings on this planet, they are nourished by sleep. But the sleep should be a timely sleep. Okay? It should not be a daytime sleep or you're sleeping late at night. That is not the right way of sleeping. Okay? Some people, they debate that I'm sleeping 8 hours every day. I'm fulfilling the quantity. But it's not about the quantity. It's also about the quality of sleep and the timing of sleep. Okay, so the right time to sleep is between 9 to 10 p.m. and wake up around 6 p.m. or before that, 6 a.m. or before that, sorry. Okay, so that sleep is really nourishing, rejuvenating, and prevents the damage that has been happening in the body because of the stress. Then some rejuvenating herbs or rejuvenating foods like some nuts. Then there are some special herbs in Ayurveda which are like food for the mind, which help in repairing the cells and keeping the brain cells also, fulfilling the requirement of the mind in terms of food, which is Brahmi, Shankpushpi. Some of these herbs mentioned here. Then ghee. So you should also use ghee regularly in your food items. Ghee is a very important food to strengthen the nervous system and to improve the coping capacity against stress. Then last, Ayurveda and all the Vedas that take you to the absolute happiness state of mind, which is Sat Chit Ananda, where you're in an always happy state. So it is more achieved after, proper understanding of the Vedas, proper understanding of the mind, and some proper practices of meditation and dhyan, dharan, or samadhi. So this is the later thing, but I mentioned it here just to explain you that the Ayurveda takes you not only to managing stress, not only to being happy, but also beyond happiness and in a state of ananda, which is absolute bliss and which is a permanent happiness. Next slide, please. So for prevention of stress, so there is again a very nice quote that Sahasam Sada Varjyate, which means you should avoid stressing yourself or avoid pushing yourself. Sometimes we push ourselves more into certain situation, and this is also a modern competitive world where you are told to push yourself, but pushing yourself unnecessarily will lead to a stressful state of mind, which can be really harming to your body. So very, very beautiful term used here by Ayurveda, that Sahasam Sada Varjyet. You should avoid over pushing yourself. Do work according to your capacity. Do any exercise or anything which you're doing in your life within the limits and capacities. Don't over push yourself. And there are some tools like deep breathing, mental recharge, meditation, laughter, which can really help. I'll discuss these tools later. So next slide, please. And increasing coping capacity, lifestyle modification is very important. Have a good food on time, have a good sleep on time. There are certain foods which are sattvic in nature. I discussed about sattva, rajas, and tamas. So your activities and food are also sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Okay. For example, if you're eating a very deep fried and very spicy, very hot food, then it will increase more rajas and tamas. Okay. Sattvic food is more vegetarian food, fresh food, fresh greens and salads, freshly prepared, and not a stale food. So that food is also helping you in improving your coping capacity to stress. Regular exercise, so your body also cleanses stress through exercise. Some herbs and some formulas, at Jiva we have created some beautiful formulas that can be taken regular on everyday basis to prevent to improve your coping capacity to stress. Oiling is very important. Lubrication through massage, shirodhara, different types of oiling, which can again help your increase your coping capacity. Then swadhyay or self-analysis. So every day before sleep for 5 to 10 minutes, do self-analysis or swadhyay, self-study. What is the state of mind you are in? What is the state of mind you expect yourself to be, and how you want to see your life? What have you done throughout the day? Do some analysis of your own self, of your day-to-day life. It will really change the way you have been looking to the world and to yourself. So these are tools which can individual thing which can which require an hour of lecturing, but I'm just exposing you to all the different possibilities and all the different tools that are there in Ayurveda. Next. So I think I told you about this cleansing through art, or your kala, which it is also called as kala therapy in Sanskrit. Yeah, next slide, please. Then sattvic food, we were just discussing about sattvic food, that fresh food and sattvic lifestyle. Sattvic music. So Sattvic music means when the music is not very aggressive or the sound is not very loud. So there's also a lot of research being done on this. So people who listen to a lot of rock music, pop music, then they are more anxious and they are more stressed compared to people who are listening to more classical music, soft music. Okay, so even the music that you're listening, the books that you're reading, the movies that you're watching, the thoughts that you have, it should be more sattvic, because it will, again, if you're watching more of crime, criminal movies or action movies, a lot of bloodshed, then it will also increase rajas and tamas in the mind. So everything that your mind is being exposed to is really will determine the state of the mind. Sattvic environment, fresh air, sunlight. Okay, go out in fresh air, expose yourself to sunlight, very important. Proper water. Sattvic people, satsanga, means you should also have a company where people have sattvic thoughts. If you're living with people who are tamasic or rajasic, or the friend circle is more tamasic, then it will be difficult for you to become sattvic as well. So you should find a company which is sattvic. Pranayama, head massage, sound sleep, laughing, yeah, with happy hormones. Yeah, next slide, please. So these are the names of some other herbs which are very important and help in mental rejuvenation and can be taken regularly as a food for lifelong, no problems. So some of them are Brahmi, Shankapushpi, Jatamansi, Ashwagandha. So we have a good combination at Jiva with all these herbs, which we call as a stress-free tablet. Okay. So, and we get a beautiful feedback when people come and tell that, how this single herb has really improved their coping capacity to stress, especially people who are in corporates and stressful jobs or lifestyle. They should regularly consume such herbs. And also some nuts, almonds, walnuts, cashews, all different dry fruits. They're good, can be consumed with honey or ghee to improve the mental strength. Next slide, please. Yeah, and also emotional immunity to metabolize emotions is very important. Again, there could be past emotions which are not cleansed, and or day-to-day emotions which are not cleansed, then it can also lead to poor emotional immunity. Timely sound sleep, again, I'm speaking about sleep again and again, because when you're sleeping, your mind is also processing your emotions, undigested emotions. You had a lot of anger during the day, you're not able to metabolize it. So if you are having a good sleep at night, you will be able to subside your anger properly. I had a teacher who used to be always hyper, always angry, but he was also very happy at the same time. So once I asked him that what is the formula. So he said, once I go home, I do some oil massage and take a wonderful sleep, and I forget what has been done during the whole day. And next morning, I'm completely fresh and recharged. So during the sleep, there are a lot of discharges that happens through the nervous system, and the emotions are being cleansed, and the mind becomes more fresh and prepared. Digital detox, very important. Stay away from your mobiles, laptops, or any other digital things, especially after dinner. Once you have taken your dinner at night, then try to avoid using any television, mobile phone, laptop. So it will be very good cleansing for your mind. Breathing exercise, meditation. If you know any meditation technique, then try to meditate for 20-30 minutes. It will also be very good for improving your emotional immunity. Mantra chanting, so those who know some mantras, they can chant mantras. We also give mantras to our patients. So mantras are very beautiful Sanskrit hymns which help in cleansing the deep-seated emotions, and they also strengthen the emotional immunity. Very, very interesting. I have a lot of examples of how mantra chanting has helped people overcome their emotional issues. Then quality time with family and friends is also very important. Okay, staying alone will not help. Next slide. I've also taken some case studies this time. So this is one of the patient. He was 34-year-old male patient, and he came with anxiety and hyperacidity since 6 years. Okay, so just to brief you, this case was, this guy had hyperacidity from very long time, bad breath, and a lot of reflux of the food, pain in the chest, and he was taking some antacids and not helping. So when he came to us, we did a whole assessment, and I in Ayurveda we always try to reach to the root cause, that why this person is suffering with this problem. Is it in the food? Is it in the mind? Is it in the body? Where is it? So after analyzing this guy, so we came to a conclusion that his acidity problem is because of his stress and anxiety. Okay, so taking antacids or these PPI pills, it will not help, because it is not a physical problem. It is coming from the mind. Even if you try to change the food, try to do everything, it will not get resolved. You have to fix the thing in the mind. So next slide, please. So this guy had poor family relations. So he said that my mother is very dramatic, and since he is married, there is a lot of trouble that is being created at home. So this guy was not in India, he's an Indian living in Canada, and there is a lot of anxiety post marriage. So the relation with wife is very good, but after marriage, the problem with the mother-in-law and the wife, and then the other things have really uh, troubled and aggravated his problem. And also the relations with the father was also not very good. So his father's relations since childhood and young age, they're always the thoughts were not matching, and he was always worried about future, what will happen in future. So these are the things he was suffering with. So after the treatment, we found that his reflux was gone after 3 months, not taking any allopathic medicines. So his allopathic medicines were very stopped within the second month itself. Acne, he had acne also, just cured. Bad breath and insomnia took a longer time to get resolved, but after 5 months, these two complaints were also resolved. Next slide, please. So what we actually did as a treatment. So it was not only focused to control acidity, but to reverse the pathology and rejuvenate the mind. So there is a very special therapy at Jiva that we are using for mental well-being, which is called as Chitta Shodhana therapy. So I told you what is Chitta. Chitta is a hard disk of the mind, which has all the memories and all the experiences stored in it. So some strong emotions or emotional traumas, if they are very strong in creating a strong impact in the mind, then they can result into a lot of diseases. So with this Chitta Shodhan therapy, we delete those experiences and emotional traumas from the mind. So it is a combination of counseling, hypnosis, and some other Ayurvedic guidances that we do use in these cases, and to instill some positive emotions in the mind. So it is a 1 month therapy that goes into the patients with deep emotional traumas. Along with this, so we used some customized nutrition plan for this patient, some herbs for rejuvenate the mind, and also some lifestyle education which was needed. Sometimes people are eating late, that could also aggravate the condition. Not sleeping properly, that could also aggravate the condition. So other lifestyle changes and other education was also done. Next slide, please. This is another case, 53-year-old female patient suffering with depression, multiple joint pain, eczema. So again, when we took the history in detail, so I found out that she had some emotional trauma in childhood, which was in form of a sexual abuse. So at when she was 9 years old. So just imagine something which happened almost 40 years ago was still troubling her in different senses. So she had a very traumatic childhood, and which is leading to a lot of problems in the old age now. So again, to go such deep into the mind, something which has happened 40 years ago, to delete it, it's not very easy. So it requires a lot of counseling and a lot of preparations. So next slide, please. Yeah, next. So again, we used a similar mode of treatment, but of course, so it is more personalized and customized from person to person. And we planned this Chitta Shodhana therapy for this patient as well. And after Chitta Shodhana therapy, her problem was subsided by more than 50%. And then we continued for some medicines and counselings regularly. And after a year of the whole treatment, she was able to recover completely. So, it can take a lot of time if the problem is very old. And but at least after a year, she's in a state where she now can manage her emotions. She's more happy. She's not depressed and disconnected from the world. She's used to feel a lot of lack of love. So all these things are more resolved. Okay, because again, the philosophy of Ayurveda is more different, which focuses more on the internal world rather than for taking you more external. Next slide, please. So these are two of the case studies which I had for today's session. So I think we are running out of time. So I will just move quickly, and then we can take some questions. So some brief tools to blow away stress. So next slide, please. So deep breathing, very important. This is a very important tool. So you should relax yourself completely, relax your body completely. Don't keep any tightness or stiffness in any of the body parts, and then practice some deep breathing for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. So when you're breathing in, you count till 6, and you're breathing out, you count till 6 again. So one breath in around 12 seconds. So this is where you slow down your breathing, and it helps in regularizing your emotions and improving your emotional immunity. Next slide. So tortoise breathing again. So there's a very interesting quote that a tortoise, it breathes only 3 times in a minute, and it lives for 300 years. And a monkey breathes for 25 to 30 times in a minute and lives for 15 to 20 years. And humans, we breathe for 16 to 20 times in a minute, and the average lifespan is around 75 to 80 years. So tortoise breathing is when you're breathing completely relaxed and making your breath as deep as you can. Okay, so maybe breathing 3 to 5 times in a whole minute. So as I told you that you can count till 6. In tortoise breathing, you can even breathe more slowly and count maybe till 10, 15 or 20, and maybe keep a 20-second breath. So this really helps in relaxing and grounding the mind completely. Next slide. Balloon breathing. Balloon breathing is when you relax yourself and deep breathe, and when you're breathing out, you breathe out through the mouth. Okay, so in the previous two breathing exercises, you're breathing in and breathing out through the nose. In this one, you breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. And while breathing out, you feel as if you're blowing a balloon, right? Okay, so this helps you in immediate relaxation from any anxious state of mind or anger or any stressful condition. Next. Wood chopper breathing. So this is again a breathing exercise to relax and forego the emotions whenever you think that you're too stressful, too anxious, or anger, or any high emotional state. So this breathing can really help you in relaxing completely. So while breathing out, while breathing in, you stretch your hands upwards and go backwards. And while breathing out, you bend down forwards, and you can see the posture that where you have to keep your hands. So this is how you breathe in the first pose, and then breathe out. So it's complete relaxation. Next, you can practice these breathing exercise. You will see a lot of relaxation instantly. Shoulder breathing. So you keep your hands on the top of the shoulders, breathe in move your shoulder upwards, breathe out, bring them down. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, simple things you can do anywhere, sitting anywhere, in your bedroom, at your workplace, anywhere these breathing exercises can be done. Next. So humming bee breathing, this is also a kind of a pranayama. So where you breathe in and breathe out, producing a humming bee sound. Okay. So maybe this can be searched on YouTube or the exact technique. So this is called as Brahmari pranayam in yoga. Next. Regular exercise is very important. I've told you earlier as well. Next. Mental recharge, sitting in silence, shutting your senses down for some minutes, very important. So find the most silent place at your home, go there, sit down for 5-10 minutes, close your eyes, don't think anything. Try not to hear anything and not seeing anything. So this is the recharge which is required. Just like you recharge your phone, this will help in recharging the mind. So this is like a detox, or not to exposing your mind to any information. Next. Laughter, very important, very interesting tool. So try to do some laughter exercise every day. There is a laughter yoga also that we do in yoga. And then again, you can sit with friends, family, and have a nice time where you're laughing. Next. Then different types of oiling, as I mentioned, body massage, head massage, Shirodhara. These treatments help in releasing stress, which is deeply seated, and the emotions which are deeply seated. Next. Yeah, thank you. So I know it was a long session, so it's not easy to explain in a short duration about how Ayurveda explains about stress management. Still, I've covered a lot of points. So we can take some questions now if there are any questions.
Yes, doctor. They are in the Q&A form. Would you like for me to read some of them for you?
No, okay, I can read it there.
Sure, sir.
How can Ayurveda help in managing and reducing the symptoms of burnout or chronic stress? So I think I've covered some of the things in the presentation itself. So it was asked very much in the beginning. So you can start with breathing exercise, and you can also, the stress is chronic and the problem is very chronic, then maybe you can also arrange a consultation with the with the Jiva doctors and understand the right path to overcoming your stress. And because, again, we have to understand where the problem is lying exactly, and then it is taken out from there. And as I showed you two of the examples where we do this chitta shodhana therapy, which is cleansing of the mind. Okay, so it is also very interesting and very helpful in chronic stress and burnout cases. So maybe it will be good if we can discuss more personally with the doctor. Are there any specific Ayurveda practices or recommendations for improving focus, concentration, and mental clarity? Yes, of course, there are. So, as I talked about sattva, so we have to enhance our sattva through the food, through the lifestyle, and also some exercises and practices can be used. So, first, it is important to have a good food and good sleep, and good association with people who are having, good focus, concentration, mental clarity. These three words you have mentioned. So you have to associate people who already have this. Okay, so that your similar things are increased. And also, important to prepare the body for concentration and mental clarity, which will be done through proper food and lifestyle, as I mentioned. Sometimes if you're eating junk food, if you're not eating properly, not sleeping properly, then this body itself will not allow you to focus or concentrate, because you're always engaged in fixing the physical problems. So first, eat well, sleep well, do some exercise, and then the breathing tools that I've mentioned, you can them for a longer period of time. It will improve your concentration and focus. Can Ayurveda provide any guidance on managing and preventing age-related cognitive decline or memory loss? Yes, of course. There is a special branch in Ayurveda which is called as Rasayana and Vajikarana. So this branch is dedicated completely for age-related issues and how you can stay younger in old age as well. And there's a special group of herbs in Ayurveda which is called as Vayasthapana. Vayasthapana means anti-aging herbs are there. So a lot of beautiful therapies and practices that can help in achieving it and preventing age-related issues like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or memory loss or any other cognitive disability. So again, to discuss in detail, maybe you can connect with our doctors and maybe book a consultation for yourself. Are these practices safe? How long do we need to follow? Yeah, each of the practices that I have highlighted today is safe. There is nothing which will harm you. It is very, very beneficial. Okay, and most of them are just regular practices or fixing the things we are doing wrong. And how long we need to follow or take the medications. So the medication part, it will depend on what the problem is and how long the problem is. So again, for any medicines or anything, it's always important to first consult the expert and then get the right answer. How does Ayurveda view the concept of happiness, and what are some Ayurvedic practices for nurturing a sense of inner joy and contentment? So, while describing about Sat Chitananda, I mentioned that Ayurveda takes you beyond happiness. So there are two terms, Sukha and Dukha, grief and happiness, right? Which we all know. So Dukha is sorrow and Sukha is happiness. So in Ayurveda, they've explained that the Sukha or Dukha is more personal, where you are more focused on self happiness and self sorrow. But when you are in a state of absolute happiness or more of a holistic happiness, then it is called as Hitayu in Ayurveda. So where you're happy yourself and you're also spreading happiness to others. So Ayurveda has explained that such is the life, which is the best life, and also explained how we can live that life. So for that, it is important to first understand the Ayurvedic concepts of mind and to study more about mind and understand more about mind. Again, the journey of this human system is not only limited to the physical body; it goes beyond body to the mind, and then the beyond mind to the soul. So the absolute happiness or the absolute contentment, it will come from the soul. So you have to nurture the soul to go beyond happiness. Okay, so the happiness and grief are at mental level, and this ananda or absolute happiness will come from the soul. So again, this will require some education, some learning, and some giving proper time to body, mind, and soul as well. Can you share Ayurvedic strategies for enhancing creativity and cultivating a positive mindset? Yes, of course. So, start with simple things in the beginning. Don't get too overwhelmed by a lot of things. So, it is first important to start with some practices that I have mentioned. So, important to do some sattvic diet, lifestyle, sattvic engagements, sattvic music, as I mentioned, and also watching sattvic movies if you can, or just everything that goes into the mind should be more sattvic. So our thoughts, our actions, what we see through the senses, what we hear through the ears, what we are smelling, what we are touching, is all an experience of the mind, which the mind is experiencing through the senses. So if we can make these experiences good and positive, then automatically the thoughts also become positive. Okay, so how you are exposing your sense organs to is very, very important. So expose your sense organs to a positive and sattvic atmosphere. It will help in cultivating a positive mindset. And, yeah, and also again other practices of daily routine and breathing are also very, very important. How does Ayurveda address the impact of environmental factors on mental well-being, such as pollution or seasonal changes? Yes, it does. Ayurveda does talk about the environment, which I've also mentioned in my presentation, that the environment should also be sattvic. So if you are living in a Rajasic place, for example, if you are living in a area which is more of a party place, I don't know what is that in US, but like Goa in India, which is where people come more for party, fun, drinking and enjoying. So this is more of a Rajasic and Tamasic type of a place. So rather than a peaceful mountain, which is more of a Sattvic type of a place. So environment will definitely have a huge impact. The place where you're living will create a huge impact on the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas state of the minds. And pollution, yes, it will also impact if there is any kind of pollution, air pollution, sound pollution, land pollution, water pollution. This will can be detrimental for your mental health. Seasonal changes, some seasons, especially in the winters, can be more depressing for the people because there is no sun. And if the season changes are not natural, what it should be, for example, if the summers, there is not, in the summers, if there is not enough sun or there is more clouds, or in the winters it's very hot, then it is an improper seasonal change. So if the seasonal change is not natural, not in tune with the nature, then it can also impact the state of the mind and make your mind more rajasic or tamasic. Okay, but again, if you have proper learning of Ayurveda, proper understanding of body, mind and soul, then in any environment, in any season, you can still stay in the sattvic state of mind. So it is again, as I mentioned earlier, Ayurveda teaches us to evolve and grow more within self, rather than focusing on changing the external things or external world around us, which is more difficult. So it's more about self evolution and self development. Any other question? So I think I've answered all the questions. Okay, so mental health is very important, as I have highlighted earlier. More important to keep your mind healthy and happy than body. If you have any such symptoms which are creating any anxiety or stress in the mind, then please do not ignore it. Okay, sometimes when things are physical, we go and see a doctor, but when things are more subtle and not physical, which others cannot see, then we keep ignoring them and we keep delaying a consult with an expert. Okay, so if you have any of the mental issues, if you're not able to sleep well, if they are not happy or content, or any stress, anxiety is there, then you can always connect with us. We have a great team of doctors at Jiva who are always happy to help, and a great, a brand of services which is around, we have created around mental health.
Yes, thank you, Dr.
So I think Sonika, yeah.
Yes. I think that's all the questions that we have for today. Thank you so much on emphasizing the importance of mental health. Usually, in today's day and age, it's rather ignored. People don't understand how important it is, and usually the medication prescribed for mental health is often addictive and makes you a little drowsy. So, natural methods to cure them is often very helpful. Thank you so much, doctor. Thank you so much, everybody who has joined today's session. I hope you found the insights that were given by Doctor very valuable and very knowledgeable as well. If you are interested to talk to Dr. Keshav about mental health, you would like to speak to him further, get a personalized one-on-one conversation with him, please do visit our website. It is app.alternative.health. You can log into that, and you can put in what sort of a treatment you want and select Dr. Keshav Chauhan, and we will be ready to consult with you. Thank you so much, everyone who has joined. Thank you, doctor. I hope you have a great day. Thank you, everyone.